Hi YouTube friends.
What's going on?
So a few days ago we made a post that we were going to be doing a vlog Q&A, and we're going to answer a few of them. We got a ton. We obviously can't answer them all in one video segment, but we're going to do our best. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So our first question is, I think, to Josh, because it's, how savage are you?
How savage am I? Well, I did kill a bear with a spear on the ground. I guess that makes me pretty savage, right?
You're pretty savage. I would say you're like a 9.5 on a scale of 10.
9.5. If I would have killed it with my bare hands, I think I would have been pure savage.
Or your teeth or something.
If I chewed out its jugular, got it.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of spears, how in the world did you decide to get into spear hunting, and who makes your spear?
I actually threw javelin in college. I was an all-American javelin thrower, and a javelin's pretty much a giant spear. So I was really good at throwing this javelin, so I naturally transitioned into spear throwing. The whole idea of spearing a bear was inspired, by Tim Wells. I started throwing a spear, and I was really surprised how accurate I could throw a spear. And I ended up having to custom make my own. I ordered parts from here, parts from there, and cut parts that came off. I'm gonna do a whole video on how I actually made the spear. Then I made an actual custom handle too with this spear. That way I could throw it more like a football, and I could actually finish the throw with my index finger, and it would allow it to spin faster and give it more accuracy.
How does it feel that your wife could beat you up?
Who are asking these questions?
How does it feel?
It's scary.
I know, I'm so intimidating.
My wife could beat me.
Alright.
It's terrifying to know
he sleeps with one eye open.
I sleep with one eye open, knowing she can just come out of nowhere and get me.
Yeah, I'm a ninja. What got Sarah into bow hunting, and was it love at first shot, or did it take some encouragement? So this is a video that we are going to be filming. It's going to be how to get your girlfriend into hunting, and it'll be really fun, so we'll go way more into detail on this. However, when I actually met Josh, I was a vegetarian. I wasn't against eating meat, I was just against eating meat that was at the store, came from slaughterhouses, and I had no other way to eat meat, so I just gave it up completely. When I met Josh, he told me that he was a bow hunter, and so, well, that might be pretty cool. Guns kind of terrify me. And right around after I'd been practicing for like 5 or 6 weeks, it was turkey season in Ohio, and I was fortunate enough, my first animal was a turkey. I shot it in the head, and
savage.
I think it was love at first sight, or love at first shot for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my mom called it, and we just started really dating. I don't even know how serious we were.
I don't even think we were like social media official.
Yeah, we weren't social media official. I called my mom, and I had her on speakerphone, and she said, "Sarah, my boy's gonna go marry you now." And
look at that.
I was like, "Yeah, right." And I was inside, I'm like, "Oh, yes, I am." So it's a true story. I ended up marrying her. It was pretty cool.
It's true.
You are married.
How did you get a part in Under Armour? So this is going to be kind of an overarching, not necessarily just for Under Armour, response. If you want to work with a company, you need to, one, be a raving fan of their product. I don't care if it's a bow, I don't care if it's face paint, whatever it is, you need to be a raving fan. You need to be posting that you're using this product, posting that you love it, filming your hunts. Then you can start to reach out to companies. A lot of companies have pro staff applications. You need to set yourself apart. You need to travel to hunting shows where, said company is going to be. Get your face in front of them. They get emails and direct messages and all kinds of stuff all day long. We know, we own a few companies ourselves. We get it all the time.
Right.
So, we see it on the other side. So if you really want to work with someone, with a company, you need to set yourself apart. So my recommendation is, obviously, one, be a raving fan of the product. Two, you need to have a following. You need to be influential in that space. And that's another topic I guess we could do a longer video on, is how to create a stronger social media following. But you need to have a following. You need to have an influence. When we first reached out to Under Armour, it was 3 days before our wedding. We drove to the ATA show. We got in because our pro shop, we spent so much money there, so they gave us tickets. Like, we weren't even supposed to be at that show, but we knew that we wanted to work with Under Armour. We were going to be doing the things we're doing regardless. We just wanted to have that relationship, have that partnership. And little did we know they were forming a women's hunting team.
You guys have to realize the whole becoming a raving fan. All these companies, people come up and say, hey, how can I get sponsored by you guys? How do I get free stuff? They hear that all day long. You know what they don't hear? People coming up to them and say, hey, I'm a raving fan of your guys' product. This is what I like about it, this, and this, and this. And if there's anything I can do for you with my sphere of influence, I'd love to be able to help you guys out. Do you realize how many people don't say that? So
Not a lot, because we get emails never like that.
Right. So guess what? When someone says something like that, they present themselves that way, that person will be remembered. And you say, hey, here's some videos of me using your product that I purchased already myself, and here's the best that I can do. Here, check this out. Look at this hunt that I went on. Look, check out this big buck I killed using your product. I just want to thank you because you helped me get this done, you know? That's the whole point. It's like, don't go there asking, hey, give me. Go there giving, and you'll be surprised on the results that you'll get with that.
It's true. Next question is, how many years did it take you to get full-fledged in the business of videoing?
Well, that's actually funny because I've been videoing my hunts as long as I can remember. And the reason I've been filming my hunts, I think since I was like 14, is because I always wanted to have my own show. And I knew that no one was going to come and knock on my door and say, hey, Josh, I know you've never filmed a hunt before, and I know that you have no experience in front of a camera, but I want you to be the host of my TV show, and I want to pay you big bucks to travel all over the world and kill big things all day long. So, you know, I knew no one was going to do that, even though that's what a lot of people think actually happens. So I knew if I had YouTube videos out there of me shooting animals and me doing this and all my own production and my own filming, even if it's bad, it's something. You know, I knew I'd gain a lot more traction in that industry than not having it at all. So I've been filming the hunts the best I could, you know, and I always had the best camera that I could afford. Some of you guys, that's a $100 little tiny handheld camera. Others, some of you maybe can afford a $2,000 to $3,000 camera or a $10,000 camera. But you always want to film with the best stuff that you can. And, you know, I went to school for media and broadcast journalism my first year because I wanted to study the art and science of filming, you know, and editing. And at the end of the day, I learned more from YouTube videos and just watching and studying than I ever did in school. So become proactive in learning and educating yourself with filming and editing. You know, YouTube, how to edit your own films. YouTube, how to function a camera. You know, all kinds of different things. And be proactive on education. And I think you'll be really surprised how fast you can learn the art of editing and the art of filming.
What got you into hunting with bows instead of hunting with rifles?
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy the challenge of the hunt more than the actual harvest. So for me, it's not about going out there and shooting everything I see, and that's what does it for me. I really like the pursuit. I really like, you know, finding an animal and you know, studying that animal and getting as close as possible to be able to kill him. I'm not against gun hunters by any means, but for me, I get so much more from bow hunting than I ever did from gun hunting. And I've never killed a buck with a gun. And I've killed some does and different things, and just the excitement of it really didn't do it for me. You know, if you get that from gun hunting, then definitely keep gun hunting. But for me, I only get that experience from bow hunting. And I want to always bow hunt. And I don't think you'll ever see me pick up a gun because of that reason.
And why do guns terrify me, Josh?
Your first gun you ever shot might have been a 12 gauge with 3.5 turkey load?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I had to teach you the right ways of the bow and arrow.
What's the best prank you've played on a hunting buddy? Okay, I'll tell you mine. So we're in Africa. We were hanging out at the lodge, and I walk in and I see this like tray, and I asked, and it looked like no-bake cookies. I'm like, ooh, no-bake cookies. And they're like, no, they're meatballs. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds good too. So I was eating one. And not even 3 seconds later, Josh walks into the lodge. And I'm like, hey, babe, do you want some no-bake cookies? And he's like, oh my gosh, I do. So he grabs one. And I'm just like sitting there like, oh my gosh, he's going to like see the onions in it or something. He's going to know that it's not.
Mind you, I'm telling a riveting story, and I'm totally distracted.
Riveting story. 3 minutes later, after you hold this thing, you finally take a bite, and you almost threw up. I mean, they're really good meatballs, but...
Come on. I mean, imagine you, in your brain, you're about to eat a no-bake cookie, and then you taste a meatball. A meatball.
Yeah.
And you have no-bake cookie on the brain. I thought I was eating a rotten no-bake cookie. And I was very depressed at that exact moment. Because I was just like...
Your face was priceless, though.
Oh, my God. Oh.
It was bad. But I got a laugh out of it. Do you have one?
Yeah. So when we were in Nebraska, mule deer hunting with my buddy Jimmy, Guide and I, we were on our way home, we ran over this big snake on the road. It was a stud snake. So we're like, well, we killed it. Well, I said we were going to throw it in the weeds, but we're like, no, I have an idea. We were going to beat them back to the lodge, and Jimmy was still out hunting elsewhere. So we brought that snake back and coiled it up and put it on the floor and made it look like it was going to strike. I put my pants over it. So I set up a camera in the corner, just waiting. Well, here comes Jimmy and his guide. They come back in, and we're all talking about the hunt that day and what went on, and it was really fun. Well, I purposely made sure I was telling a story to Jimmy longer as everyone went inside. I get in front of him, and I'm walking up the steps, and the pants are right here. So I get up the side of the steps, and Jimmy's behind me, and I'm like, Jimmy. I said, oh, I forgot my pants down there on the floor. I said, could you go grab those for me? And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So he turns around to go grab the pants, and as he walks up to the pants, he like reaches down without looking and grabs the pants, and he starts to walk back, and he didn't even look at the pants. Like once he grabbed him, he'd already turned to walk away. I said, Jimmy, you forgot something, and he turned back around with the pants and goes, bah! And sees the snake sitting on the ground. It was so funny. He just screeched like a little girl.
What was your favorite hunt? I think all hunts can be your favorite. You make memories on every single one of them. I think my favorite one was probably my first one. My first turkey, it really solidified me as a hunter.
Like Sarah said, you know, every first animal you ever chase, like for the first time, is going to be a favorite. First mule deer, first elk. All of them hold a special place in my heart. That mule deer hunt, Ryan, and I shot him at 95 yards. There was so much that went into that. Getting ready for that hunt and then actually executing and shooting world-class mule deer, you know, with a bow at 95 yards was really magical and spiritual.
And I wasn't on that hunt, which is probably why you liked it so much.
That's probably why I loved it so much. Sarah wasn't there.
I was hunting antelope with Eva, Under Armour, Taylor. No big deal.
Yeah. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Hardest hunt you've been on? Every hunt has its challenges, its trials, its tribulations. They're all challenging. They're all difficult in their own sense. However, for me, I think my most challenging hunt that I've been on so far was our red stag hunt this year in New Zealand. You know, last year I hunted for, how long were we there? 10 days?
Yeah.
10 days in New Zealand last year. Unfortunately, did not get the white stag that I was after last year. Flew in New Zealand again this year. 7 or 8 days. Went to the same place. Obviously, we loved it, but because I really wanted to get that white stag. And again, put on, I think I calculated 50 or 60 miles between the 2 years for hunting this white stag. I mean, up and down these mountains, just mentally difficult to be able to just be on your game every single time that you went after this animal and it didn't work out. And then it's, oh, we found him on the other side of the mountains. It's like, here we go again. You know, you just have to stay positive the whole time. So I think that was the most challenging physically and mentally for me. But
I think for me it was hunting a deer in Nebraska last year with Hidden Hills Outfitters. Late season, a deer named Sandman. This deer was a massive buck, but the temperatures was so freezing, like it's hard to even describe, like -12, -13, and all day sits from dark to dark. And it was crazy what I went through to stay warm to try to kill this deer. And I never got him, I never saw him, but he was an old, ancient, wise deer, and it was tough. But that for sure was definitely the most draining physically and mentally, because I'd hunted all year long last year and hunted 3 or 4 different states and hunted hard for whitetails, and I hadn't killed one yet. I didn't get a whitetail last year.
You got a doe.
Shot a doe with a recurve, that was cool.
What are some good strength exercises to do so you can get a higher poundage? So we actually have filmed an exercise to help you guys with this exact thing. It's already on our YouTube if you want to just scroll. You see it. It's a super good one. This person's asking a lot of questions. Which do you guys both like more of, whitetail or mule deer bucks? I've never unfortunately killed a mule deer. I've only killed whitetails, so I can't really, I mean, it's very different hunting, so I can't really.
Man, that's totally different. I've killed both, obviously, and mule deer hunting is by far incredibly exciting. It's non-stop action because you drive up to a hill and you spot them 2 miles away, and then you stalk in on them, and it's always non-stop action. But mule deer, in my opinion, aren't as intelligent as whitetails, so I feel like they're definitely more challenging to kill because of the whole, where they live is in the wide open. You're trying to spot and stalk these things. Compared to whitetails, you're sitting in a tree stand, a lot of patience, a lot of waiting in order to harvest this animal. But if I had to pick one, I would probably pick whitetails to hunt the rest of my life. You can hunt them all across the world. It's kind of neat. I think whitetails for sure.
How often do you guys train/work out at the gym? So usually if we're in our regular routine, we're at the gym 5 to 6 days a week. Obviously when we travel, we still stay very active. We take one non-hunting vacation a year, and that place always has a gym. So when we're actually traveling and going on our hunting trips, like I said, when we were in New Zealand, we hiked 30 some odd miles. Same with in Africa. When we're in Nebraska, we're always active. So 5 to 6 days a week at the gym, no more than 45 minutes of lifting. If we're getting ready for something like, a New Zealand hunt or something, our cardio will increase for sure, just to get ready for it. How often do you guys practice with your bows?
Great question. In the summertime, like starting right now, it's an everyday kind of thing. Sarah and I, we just got back from our last hunt, and it's been non-stop since January. I mean, just hunt after hunt after hunt after hunt. And we'd shoot, obviously, every day going through there. So we've taken a little break right now just to kind of get our bodies ready to rock and roll. But 99% of the time, during hunting season and starting now, literally now, it's every day. 50 to 100 arrows a day is typically what I do.
Bow fishing in the summer helps too, just so you don't lose your muscle memory, and your strength. What advice would you give to someone with zero hunting experience that wants to get into it? Okay, so this is a question that I get asked quite often, and I was actually on a hunt with Taylor Drury, and someone asked her this question as well, and I asked her how she usually responds, and she said to find someone that hunts and ask to sit with them on one of their hunts. That way you can actually experience it without the pressure of actually hunting yourself. Because if you don't like that, you're not going to enjoy hunting. So definitely get out in the woods. Hunter safety course is also a great place to start. And then go to a local pro shop, if you want to hunt with a gun or a bow. Talk to them, see what would work best for you. And YouTube is a great source as well. I mean, there's so much information you can find on YouTube as far as if you want to start hunting turkeys, the best way to, scout turkeys and set up a blind and do all that fun stuff. So YouTube's a great source. Did you have?
No, I think that's actually good advice from Taylor, to just sit with somebody and experience it, secondhand instead of firsthand for the first time. I think is really cool.
How important is your fitness to your hunting and fishing? I think it's extremely important to be physically fit, especially if you're going out west, doing a lot of hunting in the mountains. Your body needs to recover quickly. I think Cameron Haynes says it best, is that the animal doesn't care if you're tired.
Right.
The animal's not going to wait for you just because you can't keep up. It's not going to be like, oh, okay, they're a mile behind, I'll just stand here and not run away anymore. So you need to be physically able to do those kind of hunts. Even sitting in a blind is very difficult in order to just stay still, or sitting in a tree stand and not making a move and not making a sound for hours and hours and hours. So, for us, obviously fitness is extremely important, even if we weren't hunters. However, I do really think that incorporating fitness, even if it's 2 to 3 days a week, into your daily routine will really help you recover faster. It'll help you control your adrenaline, it'll help you control your breathing, it'll just help you control your body. The more in tune with your body you are, the better.
Yeah, I agree. I think being in shape makes hunting a lot easier, especially even whitetail sitting and anything. If your muscles are weak and you sit there for 10 hours and then your deer comes in and you stand up and your body's so exhausted and all stiff and everything else because you're not in shape, and you try to draw your bow back and things aren't in alignment and everything doesn't seem to be fitting right, you may miss that deer.
Yeah.
So I personally think having a very strong, physically fit body is important no matter what you're hunting.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. What are 3 tips for filming hunts? 1, do it.
Yeah, one, never go in the woods without a camera. Never, no matter what. If you have to prioritize, another tip is you have to prioritize filming over the actual harvest. Because what happens is, if you're new to filming, filming is second place to the actual hunt. It can't be. It has to be first place, because I've been in a lot of situations where I probably would have killed a deer or killed something if I wasn't filming. And you know what? That right there, it sucks to say, it sucks in your mind to think that, but you've got to be able to be willing to sacrifice not getting an animal because it's not on film. When you have that kind of priority when it comes to filming, you'll do well with it. But if it's second nature, just leave the camera at home, because I'll tell you right now, the stuff that you'll get on camera is going to be horrible. No one's going to want to watch it, because the animal's going to be here, you're going to be over here, then you're going to try to bring it over here, the animal's going to leave here, then it's just not going to be any good. So you have to absolutely prioritize filming over hunting.
Or ask a friend to go with you. That way you don't have to self-hunt or self-film.
And you better have a friend that's not going to lift his face out of that camera, because I'll tell you right now, normal friends, they enjoy hunting more than filming. Guess what else happens? They do this. The deers! Oh my gosh! Oh, you shot! And, you know, they prioritize hunting over filming, and you can't. You have to prioritize filming over hunting in order to be able to get good quality stuff. And even Sarah and I struggle with this, but it's a constant mental checklist.
Sarah doesn't struggle.
Oh, you're Miss Perfect. You do a great job.
What's your 3rd tip?
3rd tip, do the 1st and 2nd tip really well.
There you go.
No, but for real though, 3rd tip, have a camera that you feel comfortable with using. If you buy a more expensive camera to get better quality footage, that's fine. Just make sure you spend hours on YouTube with tutorials on how to work that camera. And be ready to do whatever you can, and have something to help it steady. Freehanding things don't work really well. I know we use tree arms. It's real easy. Strap it in there, you're good to go. You put a camera on it if you're self-filming. If you have someone else filming for you, make sure they have a tripod or like a shoulder thing to where it's steady and they're not just holding their hand.
Okay, our last question. Have you ever been spooked in the woods? We were hunting in Kentucky, and it was my first time hunting on my own, right?
Yeah, I remember this. Holy cow, I forgot about that.
My first time hunting on my own, and we're hunting velvet whitetails, which was, I've always wanted a fuzzy animal. So I think it was the 3rd day. They're like, Sarah, there's a spot, you're going to go up this hill, you're one of the only physically able people to go up this, it's a pretty steep hike. It's like 20 minutes, just follow the cat eyes, you'll see it. I'm like, okay, so I'm, walking up there, and it was a hike. It was difficult to get up there. So I'm exhausted as it is. I get up there, I get in my tree stand, and I'm spraying down with my scent killer, and I drop my scent killer. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get down, make all that ruckus, I'll just get it when I am leaving tonight. So I wait till dark, I get down, scared out of my mind to begin with, because I didn't have a gun or anything on me, and it's scary. It's scary when you're first doing it by yourself. So I completely forgot about the scent killer. So I watched it fall from my tree stand and hit the ground. So the next morning we get picked up at 3:30? I mean, it was early.
It was really early, yeah.
And Matt, our guide, said, you're gonna go back to that same spot. I'm like, okay, that's easy, I already know where I'm going, just follow the cat eyes, and there I go. So I'm walking up, and I'm like, oh, good, I can get my scent killer. I get to the tree stand, and there's no scent killer. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird, because I saw where it fell, and I didn't touch it, and it didn't rain or anything, and it's...
You're back in the bush.
3:30 in the morning. And so I climb up, don't think anything of it, climb up the tree stand, and my scent killer is sitting straight up on my seat, on my tree stand.
Oh!
So it was either a ghost, it was either a really strong raccoon, it was either a really nice bird.
Yeah, because you were way back in the bush.
Or a ghost.
No one else had permission to be on the property. A trespasser came in the middle of the night and grabbed your scent killer and put it on your seat.
And didn't get on camera?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Creepy.
ghost. So that was the scariest. It was freaky. And then I thought the guides were playing a trick on me, and I asked them, and they're like, why would we go back there, 20-minute hike, to play a trick on you when you didn't tell any of us you dropped your scent killer? And I'm like, oh, that's true. So
True point.
that was like 2.5 years ago, but yeah, scary stuff. So that was fun.
Comment below if you put her scent killer on
Yeah.
the seat.
Comment below if you're the scary, strong ghost raccoon who freaked me out in the woods. But no, this was fun. We'll do this every so often. We see a pattern of questions that we get asked quite a bit, so we will make specific YouTube videos for those questions. For everything else, we'll just do different Q&As. Should be fun.
Peace.